ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
San Diego's healthcare professionals sounding the alarm.
I am very worried, seeing what I'm seeing out there right now.
The concerning trends right now indicating an even higher surge in COVID cases on the way. Plus, money on the way to struggling gyms and restaurants forced to sacrifice under public health orders. But first, we begin with former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn receiving a full pardon today from President Trump. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt. And this pardon ends Flynn's legal saga brought about by special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. It also ends a 3-year legal ordeal over Flynn's charges of lying to investigators, which would be in the hands of a Biden Justice Department after January. The retired lieutenant general pleaded guilty twice to lying to the FBI when asked about his calls with the Russian ambassador during the 2016 election, and that prompted President Trump to fire him 3 years ago. Flynn then cooperated with Mueller's Russia investigation, and this year he asked to withdraw his guilty plea. Flynn is the second Trump advisor convicted in the Russia probe to be granted clemency by the president. The first was Roger Stone.
I am very worried, seeing what I'm seeing out there right now, that we are going to continue this uptick.
Now to a warning in the fight against the coronavirus. We are not only breaking records for positive cases daily and weekly, but hospitalizations now on the rise. Healthcare workers are worried the situation will likely get worse in the next several weeks. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala spoke with a medical officer at Scripps about the concerns on the way.
We're actually seeing significant increases. We're actually higher than we were back in July.
More people are being hospitalized with COVID-19 across San Diego County, and we're now breaking hospitalization records set during the summer.
Yesterday alone, with the numbers that we got from the county, we had 532 hospitalizations.
Dr. Ghazala Sharif is the chief medical officer for acute care at Scripps Health.
Today at Scripps, we have 117 cases.
She says concern from those in the medical field is growing, not only after local Halloween parties, but as we enter Thanksgiving and the next several holidays. She expects the numbers to continue climbing into early 2021.
What we're seeing now is what we had predicted. We do worry that 2-3 weeks out from now, are we going to see that number increase as well. New Year's Eve is December 31st. If you calculate just exactly what we're seeing now, people start getting sick in that first 2 weeks, and they get really sick and they get hospitalized, and then the intensive care unit comes. So I am very worried.
She says, like many healthcare systems, Scripps is seeing a surge in hospitalizations countywide, but even more in the South Bay, where COVID-19 has hit the community hard. Scripps has a detailed plan in place and has managed to balance hospital capacity by transferring patients to different hospitals in an effort not to overwhelm any specific location.
Every day, between 4 to 5 patients are getting transferred out of the Chula Vista campus. So yesterday, we had 5 transfers. This morning, we had 2 from Chula Vista to Green and 2 Mercy Chula Vista to La Jolla.
Dr. Sharif says hospitals are well equipped with PPE this time around, but while many people may be letting their guards down, she's reminding everyone that this isn't over and will get worse if we don't act now.
Just one thing that you do could impact so many lives afterwards.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Dr. Sharif says that she recently met with chief medical officers from hospitals across the county and says they are seeing similar situations there. She also says that outbreaks within hospital staff is growing, and across the country it's making it more difficult to get traveling nurses to fill in when staff members are sick. Well, this week, the U.S. reported more than 2,100 coronavirus-related deaths in just a single day. That's close to the highest ever, which was 2,600 back in early May. Experts say case numbers could peak after Thanksgiving, around Christmas. Unemployment claims are going back up. 778,000 people applied for unemployment benefits last week. That brings unemployment to the highest levels we've seen in a month. More people also signed up for an extended assistance program, which shows that many have exhausted their regular state benefits. Meantime, some much needed financial help is coming to San Diego businesses struggling to make ends meet under purple tier restrictions. ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Anthony Pura has more on this $20 million package just approved by the county.
Kimberly, the County Board of Supervisors approved that $20 million temporary relief package this afternoon. It will be divided up between the county's 5 districts, each getting $4 million. Now, it was approved unanimously in a special meeting this afternoon. It will come from the county's general fund. The money will go to businesses and industries that have been severely impacted by COVID-19 related restrictions in the purple tier. Those include restaurants, gyms, fitness centers, and yoga studios, movie theaters and museums, zoos and aquariums, and the event industry. The money will be distributed in the form of grants, which means that the businesses will not have to pay them back.
None of these businesses want assistance. They just want to work. But until we get through this pandemic and until we have a vaccine and the spread under control, we're forced to take the steps we're taking.
Now, businesses will be able to apply through the county's website. We have a link to that page on our website, 10news.com. Reporting live, Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Much needed for so many. Thank you, Anthony. And police have identified a woman who was stabbed and killed on a city trail in Carlsbad. Her killer is still on the run. Her name is Lisa Thorbong of Carlsbad. The 68-year-old was stabbed in broad daylight while walking or jogging on Hosp Grove Trail. It happened between 10 and 11 o'clock Monday morning. Officers are still searching for a man possibly connected to the homicide. A witness described him as husky build with a tan complexion and dark hair. He was walking slowly with a slight limp. Anyone with information in this case is asked to call Carlsbad police.
Something you may not think about discussing over your Thanksgiving meal tomorrow are the health conditions in your family.
I think it's particularly important this year in the COVID landscape because the last thing we want are additional conditions for a person to face if they're already at exposure for COVID.
Thanksgiving is also National Family Health History Day. The CEO of the Caregiver Action Network says it's extremely common that people don't know the details of their family history when it comes to certain conditions. And that could be everything from high blood pressure to heart issues. It's not an easy conversation to have, but the holiday, especially if it's happening over Zoom this year, can make the topic easier to bring up.
When you make it clear that it's really in everybody's best interest that we know what diseases that the aunts and uncles and the grandparents and everybody faced is really to everybody's benefit, then maybe it's a little easier to have the conversation.
Typically, Thanksgiving is also a time you can check in on family members you haven't seen in person for several months. If those in-person visits aren't happening because of COVID, the Caregiver Action Network says you want to make sure you're asking questions over video chat that you would normally be able to observe in person. Things like making sure your family member doesn't have bills piling up or there aren't rugs or other hazards in their home that could cause them to fall.